What's happening, YouTube? This is John, Nerding Out with Cards, and I'm coming out with a video tonight because I'm, preparing to go back to California here in a few days, and so I'm kind of packing away some cards. I bought this box recently, so that way I can continue to make content a little bit while I'm away for my collection. What's in store for the channel? Yeah, I figure that'd be a good time to get into some Chief Petty Officer Feller. Deep dive a little bit more into Stan the Man. Get more into my Ken Boyer collection. Because that's going to tie into what I'm going to talk about here in a minute. One of the things I really hope to be able to do is to connect in person with Topps 85401 here. So figure bring my Big Mac pre-rookie card. Yeah, he just did a video on rookie cards for his collection. I don't care what anybody calls this. I love this card. Rookie, pre-rookie, whatever. Yeah, I'm going to bring my Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum collection because I anticipate we're going to figure out who the 2025 inductees are this year. Like I said, I have all the players on the ballot, but who is the Red Ribbon Committee going to elect? I don't know. So what card am I going to target? What player am I going to target for that collection? Before I kind of go into what I want to, show on this video, there's, this, what is it, 94 Collector's Choice Ozzie Smith. Because, I'm not going to, go a video without showing Ozzie Smith. There's the base, silver signature, and the gold signature. And why are you showing these 94 Collector's Choice cards? Well, I'm preparing to go back to California. I was flipping through my binder, and what I noticed on the back of these cards, who is that? And it's Ozzie and Willie when he was a San Francisco Giant. I thought that was really cool. I've seen it before, of course, but flipping through the binder, it's really stuck out. So yeah, I got, too bad it's not on the front, but still really cool. Ozzie and Willie on a card. They're on a card together in 86. I have it. I'm sure I'll show that in a future video. So anyway, something I wanted to show before I'm separated from my collection once again. I was watching a couple videos from Scott Reindeer Studios. He was doing a marker doodle, and then he was doing a painting. You got Mike Schmidt, and then you had Eddie Matthews. And so I got this portfolio, and what I keep in it is my collection of Cardinals Scorecards. You might have heard me talk about this in a previous video, but 2003, Mike Perez started designing the Cardinals Scorecards, and they have been absolutely phenomenal, right? He did every year with the exception of 2007, but they wanted to do, I guess, a World Series theme kind of thing. Luckily, for 2012, they didn't make the same mistake they did in 07, and Mike Perez got to design it. So either way, I'm going to just show off these Cardinal Scorecards because I think they're amazing. I don't know too much about other teams and how they do scorecards, programs, yearbooks, whatever. I know Greg acquired a giant collection of programs and things like that. But either way, so I wanted to kind of show these off. You know, they're just so cool. You know, you got 2003 right here. You know, his first year of doing them. Mike Perez being the artist. 2004, really cool. You know, you see the archways of the old bush. You know, cardinal bird sliding into home. Love it. And he gets into some tremendous designs. You know, 2005, the last year of the old bush. You know, so it's the primary theme for the cardinal bird there. 2006, that's the first year of the new ballpark. So again, the ballpark is, you know, the main focus there. Like I said, there was a gap between that and Mike Perez's next design. So then you got this 2008. You got the cardinal bird pitching. Won't be the last time you see that. 2009, the All-Star game was in St. Louis. You know, so that's why you see the All-Star theme. You know, so every team is represented on there. That's fun stuff. 2010, so the Cardinals. He takes some liberties on having fun, but 2009, the Cardinals won the division, so yeah, he kind of pokes fun at all the other teams in the NL Central. (2011), you know, the Cardinals didn't do so hot in 2010. You know, you got the cardinal bird batting, similar to the 2003. But, you know, we all know that turned out to be a very memorable season for the Cardinals. And that's why I'm saying, like, the artwork in the 2012 one, you know, it accentuates the history of the Cardinals, the playoff run, you know, kind of poking some fun at that. I know Mike, baseball collector, he won't enjoy this one too much because, well, you know, the Cardinals, you know, beat the Texas Rangers quite famously in that World Series. 2013, so, you know, Musial had passed away. And so this one is like an ode to Stan the Man. You know, you see that patch there on the Cardinals jersey, but then you got the statue. Absolutely love this scorecard. You know, 2014, so the Cardinals went to the World Series in 13. Unfortunately, lost to the Red Sox, but this one celebrates all the Cardinals NL pennants. Also, along with the opening of Ballpark Village that we know and love today. You know, that was promised when the ballpark opened in 2006, but it didn't come to fruition until much later. You got 2015, once again, the Cardinals division champions, kind of poking fun at the other teams in the NL Central. 10th anniversary of the new Busch. And, I mean, ballpark hadn't been around that long, and yet so much history has happened. All-Star Game, World Series, things like that. So, really cool artwork for that. Then you got this one, you know, celebrating the 125th anniversary of the Cardinals. And it's got, so what he tried to do is all the different renditions of the cardinal bird throughout the Cardinals' history is what is surrounding this little logo that they had going on that year. This also happened to be, you know, birth year for one of my kids. And then you got this, you know, 2018, you know, Cardinals running the bases. Yeah, that's a really fun design. Nothing super special happened in 2017. So that's where a lot of these cool ones come in. You know, it's instead of tying it to history and things like that, it's just more of a, you know, free reign in a sense. You know, here's another one kind of poking fun at the rest of the NL Central. You know, that's 2019. 2022, I'm going to take a break right there. So, you know, we all know that 2020, there wasn't fans at the ballpark, unfortunately. So there wasn't a scorecard. You know, so then 2021, the fans are back, and he came out with one, but that one's not in the portfolio. That one, I got framed. This one's really cool. Unfortunately, this is going to be really hard to see because I try to get cute. I don't know if you can really see it. It doesn't show up that tremendous in person either, but I hope you can see it right there. That is Nolan Arenado's signature, right? So you see on this scorecard, the Cardinal Birds playing third base. That's not a coincidence, right? The Cardinals had traded for Nolan Arenado prior to the 2021 season. So in 2022, I was able to go to the Cardinal spring training. You know, we all know, or most of us know, that it was the first year that fans were invited back to spring training. I was stationed in Florida at the time. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go. And I had leave approved. But luckily, my direct supervisor, big baseball fan, Dodgers guy, so I had leave, and but they had the players lockout going on. And I was like, listen, guy, I'm just going to go when the lockout ends. All right. And he's like, cool, just, you know, go, have fun. Jupiter was like a 4-hour drive from Clearwater. And so I went as soon as they announced the lockout was going to be over. So got on the road. And so I got to meet Nolan Arenado. So I brought this scorecard to sign. And why it doesn't stick out very well is that I got cute. I had bought a platinum Sharpie, you know, platinum like his glove. But it turned out to be really cool. The reason why the newspaper is here, and try to point it out right there, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, so my home newspaper, was there, and that's Nolan signing autographs, and that's me right there. So I ended up on the front page of the hometown newspaper because, you know, the lockout had ended and spring training. I put that spring training schedule there because, you know, it's a really cheap, easy souvenir. And then I got a little collage picture thing, you know, Nolan signing my scorecard. That's also the day when Pujols re-signed with the Cardinals. And they announced him on the field. I was 3 rows from the field, and he's walking down the foul line. And then I just got some other pictures, you know, just kind of commemorate my time. Real bucket list event to go to. You know, Cardinal spring training. And so anyway, you know, 2002, you know, Yachty had announced that it was going to be his last season. Waino didn't, but we knew that they were coming up on history. You know, the most starts between a battery, and those guys have been institutions for the Cardinals since 2006. So, you know, Mike Perez did a special design for that. You know, you had 2 Cardinal birds. One's a pitcher, one's a catcher. Phenomenal stuff. 2023, Waino announced it was going to be his last season. So, you get another Cardinal bird. You see he's hurling there a curveball. You know, Mets fans might hate that. You know, the patented Adam Wainwright curveball, striking out Carlos Beltran. And then if you saw from a previous video, here's the 2024 and Ode to the City. And I don't have 2025s yet. It's the Cardinal Bird, playing a shortstop, turning 2. I'll hopefully get that in June. Because if you go to the ballpark, they don't sell them on non-game days, unfortunately. So, wasn't able to make it out to a ball game while I've been home now, but, maybe next time. A couple other scorecards I have. I went to the final regular season home game at the Old Bush. That's my ticket. That's a scorecard. My dad went to the... Oh, hold on. That's a certificate. I want to do something with these things, more formally, kind of like I did with that spring training stuff. My dad went to the first game in the New Bush, picked me up this scorecard. I was stationed in, I was in A school in Yorktown, Virginia when this game was going on, so I couldn't go. But yeah, that's my scorecard collection. Kind of want to show some of that off. Love what Scott at Reindeer Studios does. And like I said, watching those 2 videos, showing off that scorecard from before, I love these things. I thought at one point in time I was going to have them framed and put them on the wall, but there's, 2003 to 2025, minus 2020, there's 21 of them. So I got this thing. It's got enough room to hold another decade or so of scorecards. But yeah, what a really cool, inexpensive collection, And it's something different than baseball cards, although I did show some baseball cards at the beginning. And I don't know, like, how does your team do up scorecards? Do you collect scorecards? Do you collect programs and things like that? If you do, share them. Obviously, mention them in the comments if that's what you want to do. But yeah, I have so much fun collecting these things. Go to a ball game, pay $2 to $3. Yeah, $3 is what they cost now. They started off at $2.50 when I started, but awesome stuff. And I hope you all have a good one.